So I cried the most that I have in a very long time last night, and then I went to sleep. Um, I woke up and it was very gray outside. I could tell, even though my blinds were closed, and it reminded me of 2022 and 2023 when I would just cry like every day, and I guess like I guess it was just a really gray winter that year because it just there's I couldn't recount specific days per se, but it just I could feel the weight of those years, and it was just really disheartening to wake up to that. Cause like I've been medicated for about like a year now, and well I've been getting medicated for like a little over a year now, and I'm currently on three different ones, and a question that I kind of have every now and then is like whether those medications actually help, or whether it's just that I am in an environment that doesn't trigger me as much as um, like being at school did. And I guess it felt like last night kind of proved that my medications don't work that much, because I was very, very emotionally dysregulated, and I just spiraled so badly, and that's scary. That's scary because I was at my parents' recently, and I was getting all of my old diaries because I realized I like having them all in one place. And I have like all my college ones here, and it just helps me get a better idea of myself and where I am and where I used to be and all those sorts of things. And I found my middle school diary, and I got the date of when I first tried to like, oh, you know, it was February 2016. So I am just about 10 years since that. And I have been depressed for like more than half my life. Yeah, it'd be more than half my life. Kinda sucks. Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. Um, I guess I don't know what else to do but laugh, because it's like at this point I know that I can't just mope all the time. Not that like I've never realized that before. If I've been depressed for more than half my life, like I know at this point that there's no point in just moping and not doing anything. Like I've gotten 10 years past that. I guess it's just it feels more resolute now because I'm an adult. Uh, um, I don't know. I guess I don't really know what to say. I didn't really come into this with a plan. It just feels like maybe I should put my thoughts out there. Maybe I should put my experiences out there in a very unedited way. Because I think I overthink. Well, I know I overthink everything, and that just gets me to a place where I'm not as genuine as I can be, and I'm also not as what's a good word? Just not very much myself. And in the end, I look at whatever I make or put out or whatever, and I think like, I don't like this. I probably won't like this either, but that's not the point of this video. Anywho, I got sidetracked. Um, yeah, it's just like I'm really proud of myself for, getting 10 years past that, even though also um, this month marked the 1 year since my last attempt. And that's a thing to be proud of too, and I am. Um, I think I don't really celebrate things that I should. Like I remember earlier this year I finished my IOP, which is in outpatient program. So what's the I? Whatever. I can insert it here or something. But basically, it's like for when you're not detained. What's the word? I can't think. I really can't think lately. And it started sometime in college where I could literally feel some cognitive decline of not being able to remember things well, not being able to think very well, and I think one of my medications made my ADHD a little bit worse, so it kind of exacerbated that. But anyways, once you're released from like an institute, those programs, the IOP is kind of like it helps you get back into normal life, I guess. And I finished that and it's like, oh, intensive. It's an intensive outpatient program. I did that for like 3 months, from like the end of December to sometime in late February, March. And I remember like I thought to myself, like, I know this is something I should be proud of, and I am. But there was like, it felt like there was no one else around me that I could really celebrate it with. So I just did it. Sometimes I think back on that, I'm like, why didn't I? I should have. Because it was a big accomplishment. It's not every day that you finally finish doing 10 hours of therapy a week. It was intensive. And about like half that time I was on a medication that, about like half the time I was on medications that were not good for me. Didn't help. But I finally found one that did work, and I'm still on that one right now. I didn't think I would. It's like last night too. I didn't think I would cry this much, because I've been fine lately. But when does that word like ever really mean what it's supposed to with me? I feel like fine and okay, those are words that really lost their meaning so long time ago. And I think I have a really warped perception of what it means to be fine or okay. Because to me, being fine and being okay is like being functional. And it's like functional, very capitalistic mindset of productive. Like I am able to do things, and I'm able to um, live as a human being that is contributing to society, and that is more or less my definition of functional in terms of myself. I have different views for other people. I think that humans are inherently, like, by existing we have value, and that's really all we need, but I don't believe that for myself. Not on purpose. I try really hard to believe that I have value regardless, but with all the mental stuff I have, believing that I have value if all those things are all that I have is really hard to believe. Like, if those things, like, when I am depressed, I am unable to do, like, a lot of things, but I'm supposed to. And especially when I was growing up, living with my parents, there was, in my head, a very high expectation that I need to um, perform in life a certain way. That I need to be a good student, and I need to be doing all of my piano practices, and I need to be feeding myself while they're at work. Because if I'm not doing those things, then they're worrying and they're working. So I can't make them worry, because then they're distracted and they're worrying about me. And I didn't want them to worry about me. This is stupid. Honestly, this is really stupid. And I know it's not. I think vulnerability is like such an overlooked quality with people now. I think a lot of people are very scared of vulnerability, and I have always tried to fight against that, because I don't want to be airing all my shit out. I don't want people to see me crying and all this stuff, but if I don't, then who is going to? And that's like a really big mindset I have. um like I don't think I'm necessarily a natural leader, but with these sort of beliefs that I have, combined with the skills and like strengths that I do have, it often puts me in a position where I kind of act like a leader. Even though for like all intents and purposes, I'm not fit to be a leader, at least not alone. Yeah, when I'm leading things, I tend to have to draw away at some point because I get depressed. I don't even know how I started this whole conversation. I say alone. I just remember I was talking about the grayness. I woke up with that feeling of 2023 and 2022. God, when I say, like, that was such a miserable time for me. Like, last fall, like November 2024 to, honestly, like, June of this year, that was pretty miserable. But I think there were, like, enough really good moments in those months where it doesn't feel that bad. I know that I was mentally very ill, but I don't it was it I look back on those months and think, like, it was still not as bad, I guess, as 2023. Because those months, it really did feel like hell every day. Because I felt so alone in a way that I still did this round, but in a very, very different way. Maybe it's just the grayness. No, I think it's also that, like, I have friends that are much better this time, and I have my medication, and I'm out of school. God, I'm out of school. Being out of school, like, genuinely did so much for me. Oh gosh. Anywho, I guess all of that to say, I don't really know where I'm at, and that's scary. I was supposed to meet with my therapist today to get my diagnosis report, but she canceled because apparently Zoom isn't working. So she said she'll send me my diagnostic summary, but the general consensus between us is that I have OCD and ADHD and autism, all of which make me depressed and anxious. And when I was taking the assessment for OCD with my therapist, that was like really mind-opening. Because for the last year, every time I met with like some professional, like either at the hospital or like to get medicated or to just talk to, all of them would say like, you have OCD. It sounds like you have OCD. I'm like, no, I don't. Because like, even though I knew that OCD is not, what the media portrays it as. It's not just that. It's like very multifaceted. I still felt like I didn't have OCD because of X, Y, and Z. And then I slowly started to kind of, with this therapist, she's kind of started helping me understand what it actually looks like in like different ways and ways that like affect me. And then with the assessment, I was like, fuck. Because I realized a lot of things that I thought were personality traits of mine, or like efforts that are valiant, were actually really unhealthy habits from OCD. So then it kind of felt like a lot of my identity it doesn't have its own valor. It's stolen valor. But it's not even valor because it's not a good thing. They're bad habits. A good example is like me with like health and fitness and things. I at some point developed this idea that I have to take care of myself in every possible way, and if I fail in any of those ways, then I am going to be miserable in like my 40s, and I'm going to regret my 20s. And also that like I am not being a proper human being if I'm not taking care of myself. So that includes like dental care, that includes wearing sunscreen, my diet, exercising. With exercising too, it's like strength and mobility and flexibility and like all these sorts of things. Like I have to have everything, every base covered, and if I don't, because and like I often don't, because it's perfectionism, and no one is perfect. I'm not perfect. So whenever I'm not meeting those standards, I think to myself like, there's something wrong with me, which I do, which subjective. The term, the idea of there's something wrong with me is inherently flawed, but it is the easiest way to encompass what I feel about myself in those moments, and in general, I guess. Yeah, OCD. Again, I'm still waiting on the freaking diagnostic summary. She said she would send it like 20 minutes ago, and she still hasn't. Whatever. But I mean, oh my gosh, the way she said it, she was like, I quote, I clocked you as having the trifecta of autism, ADHD, and OCD from the first appointment. And she says this almost every time we meet. And I don't know what to say each time. Because, like, what am I supposed to say to that? Like, oh, yay, thanks. It's silly. It really is. It's so, the way mental health and all of that is treated on the internet has made it into such a joke in so many different ways. And just the idea of having multiple sort of cognitive, mental, whatever sort of disorders, disabilities, what have you, is a joke. The whole joke is like, the Tumblr 12-year-olds who put in their bio like minors or like 18-year-olds don't interact, demi bi lesbian, like just like the every sort of I guess for lack of better words, liberal like sort of descriptors in their bios. And it's like, or the people who like trauma dump on like Discord, I guess. These are really specific examples. I hope you guys get it. But they're like, oh yeah, my life is so miserable because of this and then this and this and this and I have this and this and this, and it's like people are like, they're lying. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's like a whole other thing. I can't get into all of this right now, but the way that mental health is treated and seen on the internet is literally no better than it was 10 years ago. Because I am still ostracized by people because they simply do not understand how mental health works, and that mentally ill people will act as mentally ill people. There's so much nuance to this conversation, and I cannot get into all of that right now. I have to just move on. Whatever. I don't even know how I got here again. Ugh. I need to make a point with this conversation because I cannot have just cried for like whatever minutes on this freaking video for nothing. And also like terrible while doing it. Jesus. Okay, I'm being self-deprecating. I can't say I don't believe those things, but also like I don't believe those things. I am being hyperbolic. Gosh, I talk like I'm autistic. My friend, my sorry, my friend says I have like a slight autistic accent, especially in like videos. And I don't know about the accent. I still can't really hear it. I don't know what exactly it means. But I do know that when I'm not masking, I talk with a lot of non sort of colonial words. Like prerogative. Love that word. On repeat, I'm in my head. I love the word prerogative. I love the word prerogative. I love digress. Just not words that you typically hear in conversation. Because those are better descriptors and they sound nice and they look nice. I don't know. I guess if I did have sort of any takeaway from this, it would be that I hope it can just be better next year. That's all I can ever hope. There's I use Notion. I guess I'm back on using Notion, yeah, pretty much. And there's this page that I made at the end of high school, and it's called "So You're About to Be Depressed Again." And it gives me a whole checklist of things that I need to look at, because those are things that will help me not be depressed. I guess I'll just pull it up because I might as well. Quote, "I am going to become depressed at this rate. I am falling and falling fast." Okay, guidelines for myself. Some of these things are like, life exists, deadlines exist. Life matters, deadlines matter, your life matters. So that means no skipping deadlines. Or waking up late saying it's okay, it's not. Doing a social media cleanse, no procrastinating, exercise, journal every night, drink water and eat something, sleep. You need it whether you choose to deny that or not. Allow yourself rest. I was very Christian back then, so like reach out to God more and like read the Bible and those sorts of things. Reach out to friends, think reasonably, buy a fat fruit salad and shove all those juicy boys in your mouth and wallow in the nutrients. Those are real words that I wrote in high school. Wait, did Be Real go off? No, it didn't. Let yourself enjoy something, whatever you want to do. Give yourself time to indulge in it without thinking about anything else. It'll give you the energy you need to do other things. In hindsight, that's just me saying, like, do your hyperfixation special interest stuff. In hindsight. Yeah, it's really funny because that, like, think reasonably one, so much harder to do now than it was even back then. And I am older and technically wiser than I was at, I guess I read this when I was 18, freshly 18. But my head has gotten so much more complex that it's harder to think reasonably because I have no conception at this point of what reasonable means. And it has gotten a lot better because at the beginning of this year, oh my gosh, I could not because for me, there's like what I think. I, as a person who has learned things, who writes things, who is educated and has beliefs. And then there's everything else in my brain. And the everything else is all over the place. And it's my gut, it's my childhood self, it's my fears, my insecurities, it's my freaking ADHD, what have yous, and letters, stuff. And they all start overlapping and crossing over each other, and they mix too. Oh my gosh, some of them will combine to make this beautiful amalgamation of horror and terror of terrorizing me. So it gets really messed up in my head, and I will lose sight of what reasonable means. And that's actually like a really big reason of why I started crying last night. Because it just kind of made me remember that I avoid thinking about that a lot now. And that's actually the only reason, really, that I am not miserable all the time. I just don't think about it. Which, I mean, that's like most people, right? No one is really happy, especially with the current climate of the world. I think especially as like Americans, and if you are like a leftist, it's like very doom and gloom in the whole world right now. So it's not like I'm alone in having to just sort of suppress a lot of negative emotions to get by with each day. But just there's so much in my head. So like even if all of those like bigger things got solved on a more minute, minuscule level in my head, it's still the same. I still overthink everything, whether I choose to or not. Oh my gosh, I never choose to. It's so freaking annoying in my head. And here, Oh my gosh, I told my internist who prescribes me medication that I hear voices in my head, but not like that because they're all my voice. They all just have different things that they want because one of them is like my OCD and one of them is my ADHD and one of them is like my childhood self, like everything I said. And she was like, I'm gonna put you on antipsychotics. So I've been on those and it did make the voices go away. But now it's just like me, like just the one Ashley voice. And then everything else is just a feeling. I feel the insecurities and I feel the fears and I feel the anxiety. Um, but I don't have them as voices. So actually sometimes it's a lot harder without the voices because I don't really know what is going on sometimes. At least with the voices, I could kind of be like, can you shut up? But now it's just kind of like, I just talk to myself. Like, I literally just, it is like this right now, what's happening right now, but alone. I don't even have a camera on. It's ridiculous. My life is ridiculous. I am ridiculous. But that's the joy of it. You know, that's the fun of it. I want to know my diagnostic summary so bad. Whatever. I don't even remember what I was saying about what the point of all of this is. See, that's what I'm saying. Terrible memory. My gosh, every day I will sit at my desk to do something. I will do a bunch of other things for like 10 to 20 minutes and then I'll be like, this is not what I sat down to do. And I'll think about it and I'm like, what was I gonna do? And sometimes it's not even like, I will have those things multiple times in the span of like 5 minutes. Like I'll be like, I'm gonna do this thing and do something else. I'm like, wait, no, I was gonna do this thing. Wait, I thought about something else. Wait, no, but I have to do this. Go do the thing. And that will just go on for 5 minutes until I finally have my original thing done. Takeaway. I just have to keep figuring things out. And that might suck, but what am I gonna do about it, you know? What am I gonna do? Not myself. Tried that. Didn't work. I didn't even... Okay, we're not gonna get into all that. Just have to keep believing that there is good for me. And I'm not always gonna have to put in every ounce of my blood, sweat, and tears to get that. That there are things that are destined for me. And I don't have to fight tooth and claw. Like, give myself up to gain a good thing. Because I think that's kind of what I've been taught and how... Oh my gosh, I'm like trying to end this video and I'm still crying and tearing up. Goodness gracious. I've kind of learned to believe that to get a good thing or to be in a good place with people especially, I have to fight for it. Because otherwise, why would someone want me? Like everyone else, it's just so much easier to like them and be friends with them. I am someone that is hard to be friends with and hard to be around. So for someone to want to be around me, I have to try a lot harder than the average person. Honestly, I don't even know at this point. I started this video to try and be like vulnerable and all that stuff that I mentioned, and I'm just kind of lost. Maybe that's the point. Dude, I have a like, that's not wrong. I have my Spotify open on my desktop right now, behind my laptop that I'm recording on, and I'm gonna stop using Spotify, but I'm gonna stop at the end of the year, which is like in 2 days. I have like my day list, the one that it like shuffles for you with like based on the music you listen to, and for right now it's the Sheffield Indie British Rock Tuesday Afternoon, and the entire playlist is just Arctic Monkeys. So I don't know, I thought that was funny. I have a subjective sense of humor. I think a lot of people don't think I'm funny, or they think I'm funny ironically. And I've realized recently that I want to be funny, but I don't think I can be funny in the way other people are funny. Another thing on the list of things that I try to imitate from other people, and I just kind of fail, but also kind of succeed in my own different way. What do I end with? What do I end with? I end with, this year was freaking crazy, and so many good things happened. So many bad things happened. I don't even know if I can say they were bad things. I think a lot of good things happened. I think a lot of crazy things happened. Maybe I'm a little bit too kind. I don't know if I could call all the things that happened to me were bad things. They were things that happened, and it impacted me negatively. Or are they bad things? Oh my gosh. I don't know. I lose track of what is reasonable in my head. I have too many thoughts. I know too much. I need my brain to just... Yeah, this year was, for lack of a better word, a clusterfuck. But like, I am going into 2026 in a much better state than I went into 2025 with, and I am medicated, and I have a really good group of friends around me, and I'm in much, much better terms with my parents. People like my art, which is crazy, and I'm getting places with the things that I am doing, and I don't want to give up on those things. Even if I get really depressed and I cry, even if like that emptiness like comes back, which it does, and it did, at least there's just like a little bit more for me to do and be happy about. And I don't want to say like that's kind of the whole point, as if like I am preaching some sort of message. I don't want to be an example for people, because everyone's experiences are different, and also I do not think I'm a good role model, at least in this regard. But that's just my journey with all of this, I guess. That's where I'm at. And to 2026, I guess. Actually, I'm excited about a lot of things, which is a lot more than I could say. So much more than I could say last year. Okay, now that's all. If you watched all of this, appreciate ya. Thank you. I don't know what this channel is gonna look like in 2026. I don't know if I want to make a separate thing for all of these sorts of video whatevers. Only time will tell, I guess. But thanks. Okay, bye.